On pense mieux les empires, c'est gros. Les républiques. Bravo, monsieur Ségalos, ça c'est du meuble. Cette fois, c'est le moment d'ouvrir une deuxième parenthèse et de décrire les sentiments des personnages.
Hello. Welcome to Brushing Teeth with Robert. It is the Saturday live broadcast. Hope you're staying sane. Hope you're staying healthy. Trust me, the first 5 minutes isn't going to be me repeating that, all right?
Odile se demande si les deux garçons ont remarqué ces deux seins qui remuent à chaque pas sous son chandail.
Cheers. Welcome. Welcome to the Saturday live broadcast. Or podcast, sorry.
Je ne sais pas si c'est le monde qui est en train de devenir rêve ou le rêve.
This is from the movie Band Apart by Jean-Luc Godard, otherwise known as Madison Cafe Scene. Welcome. If you haven't seen any Godard films, I highly influence you to. Unbelievable French theater. Of course, Band Apart is a very famous one. Breathless is another one. How do you say a dirt bag? That's my favorite line. So. Yes, that is a ladder behind me. All right. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Brush Your Teeth with Robert. It's a Saturday Live podcast. Again, sucks, so you can count on that. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you are here. A few of you. Very nice. All right. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I hope you like what you see. If you do, please subscribe. Get the alerts. I don't know why. It's pretty regular, except when it's not. As you see, ladder behind me. I have been working hard. I've got paint all over my hands. It's been nice working on the house today. It's been enjoyable. But it's a nighttime. We have a drink. Cheers. Thank you for being here. So, Brushing Teeth with Robert has been going on for some time now. I have steered as far away from serious topics as I can. No, I haven't, by the way. No, I have not. That's a total lie. So we're going to talk about some serious stuff tonight. Not serious, but we're going to talk about some things that occur to all of us in life that we should all go through. We all go through them, and we should sometimes get advice that's outside of our own. One of the best things I think about conversation is that you will learn something sometimes about yourself that you didn't know. I'll give you a prime example. well, not a prime example, but a look into my philosophy on conversation, which is this: when I would not hold some of the opinions I hold today if somebody had not changed my mind. That's just the absolute truth. And the only way somebody changed my mind was through conversation. And a lot of times probably most of the time, they were not looking to change my mind. We just had a conversation. I walked away from it. And either then or later, or maybe even years down the line, I went, aha, aha. I remember when that fucker said that. And I remember when I heard them say that. And now I think the same thing. Sorry, I'm picking that white paint on my pants. God damn it. Paint pants. So thank you for being here. Hope your Saturday is going well. Hope you're sitting with a drink in hand. Lord knows I am. It's been a very nice week. I think it's been a weird week for everybody, but I also think it's been a fast week. At least everyone I've talked to. We all seem to be experiencing our weeks very symbiotically or very similar weeks. Everybody seems to be having similar weeks. Really weird weeks. When I talk to people, they go, yeah, that was a weird week. Like, yeah, that was a weird week too. Or I think this was a fast week. I think it went by very quickly. And I think that that's a good thing because I think we all could not wait to get to the weekend. Even though as adults, let's be honest, do we even have weekends anymore? Do we? I mean, it doesn't seem like it. It seems like we just work straight through to the 7 days, just over and over and over again. But it is the weekend nonetheless. Hope you're having a good time. Hope you're enjoying yourself, whether you're having a drink or not, or whether you're doing something or not. I hope you're just having a great week. So let's talk about a few things. And something I want to talk about that we all go through is breakups. Conscious uncouplings, as they call it. The idea of walking away from or having somebody else walk away from a situation which y'all are partnered together, whether it be a friendship or whether it be a partnership or whether it be a business partnership or whether it be a romantic partnership, married or not. You know, we all do it. We all end up splitting ways with people we know. And it's hard. I mean, sometimes it's easy. Let's be honest. Sometimes it's very easy. Sometimes it's somebody we have wanted to get away from, and sometimes they pull the cord. If somebody you want to, here's the funny thing. There are times when you want somebody to pull the cord, and then they pull the cord, and you go, fuck, I wish they hadn't pulled the cord, even though you want them to pull the cord for the longest time, and you miss the fuck out of them. And you take it really bad, even though it's something you wanted. That happens. There's also sometimes when you don't want somebody to pull the cord, or you don't want to pull the cord, and it does get pulled, and then you go, you thought you were going to be super sad about it, you thought you were going to be super depressed, and you breathe that sigh of relief. There are so many different ways to split up. There are so many ways to, for lack of any better term, be divorced from somebody. And I do mean that in all respects. I mean, divorce is not just a marriage. Divorce is a splitting of two people. I'm fairly certain that that there is a Latin term for divorce that means that people go separate ways, whether it be friendships or whatever. But I know there are people that we sever ties with or have ties severed with that eventually we forget. But I have a feeling they're few and far between. I really do. I think that even though we as individuals have a short-term memory situation, those people who have affected us or come into some kind of relationship with us where we felt close to them, when we felt that close tie with them, they affect us in some way, and in our subconscious, they're still in there. So that's the weird thing is time is a very cruel reminiscer sometimes. And I remember somebody saying that it's so easy to remember the good times. It's easy. Like, that's an easy thing. It really is. Even somebody you really didn't like. It's very, very easy in hapstance or in reminiscence to remember nothing but the good times. I know there are people I have broken up with and have broken up with me, or we've split or whatever, that I know we had shitty times, and I can remember some few, like the big shitty times that may have led to the split. But overall, I remember the good times, which is weird. I think a majority of it, I remember the good times instead of remembering the bad times. If I remember bad times, it's generally those big events that led to it, not the slow, shitty events that eventually led to it. Does that make sense? So I got an email from a friend of mine who remained nameless, even though he's probably going to call up here, who asked me to give some advice out there, and for somebody who is going through that split. And I started writing an email, but I couldn't do it. And I thought this would probably be the better way, because I am much better and faster at speaking it, just like almost anybody else, than I am typing it. You know what's funny? Speaking of which, I want to bring this up real quick. Does anybody remember when they realized that they could type their thoughts faster than they could actually write them? Does anybody remember that? Like, that was an odd realization, that I can actually type my thoughts faster. And then I went, aha, no wonder authors sit down and at a typewriter rather than writing it out, because it's so much faster to do it this, typing. Well, the even faster way, of course, is talking. So I know everybody loves my advice of rearing children. So I thought I would go ahead and give a little advice on what to do when you split up. What to do and how to not let a conscious uncoupling destroy you. Because it will. I mean, it will. I have definitely gone through at least a few that have destroyed me, that literally crushed me inside out. I went through one where I had to take antidepressants. I remember that one. I think I may have went through two in which I had to take antidepressants, now that I'm thinking about it. And nothing hardcore. It's not like I was taking lithium, all right? So calm down, all right? So let's just all relax. But I do know that there were two that had me taking antidepressants, like Lexapro or something. Wasn't like Valium or something. So, breakups are always easier when they are on your terms. We all know that, regardless. Even if it is that situation where it's on your terms and you regret it, and for that fleeting moment, it can turn reasonable people into sociopaths. Absolutely. I on both sides, because I know it's turned me into one. I know it turned me into a pretty evil son of a bitch one time, or two or three times. So yeah, absolutely. Splitting up can turn reasonable people into sociopaths. Here is the way to not. Here are ways in order for it not to turn you into a sociopath. All right. So the first one goes without saying, even though people don't want to say it out loud. No, I take that back. People will say it out loud, but it's generally they'll say it in a very flippant way because they haven't gone through a split in a long time. They'll just say it flippantly, almost. I know there's a word for it. But they'll say it and you don't really take it seriously and you don't really consider it because of the way they say it. So I'm not going to say it flippantly. And I think people already know this about me, about part of my philosophy of life, which is this: sit with the hurt. Sit with the hurt. Be fucking all right hurting. You've got to be okay with it. Don't fight it sometimes. Don't fight it all the time. There are some times when you should fight it, of course. When you're, when you're at work or when you're trying to get through your daily life, the grocery store, you don't want to start crying in the middle of a grocery. Nobody crying in the middle of the grocery store is the worst. I've seen it. Oh shit. Okay, 15 minutes and 25 seconds. That's as far as I went. Be okay with the hurt. Be all right with it. Don't always feel like you have to go out and cheer yourself up, because you fucking don't. You really don't. That's a good term. Embrace the suck. Absolutely. There are times, of course, when you got to suppress the hurt. When you're in public, period. Like I said, when you're at work, when you're at the grocery store, when you're out at a bar or something like that. But when you are not, I'll give you an example. Okay. I just said when you're out at a bar. So that generally people will think when you're with friends, not when you're with friends. You don't have to suppress it all the time when you're with friends. Now, don't be that fucking person. Don't be that boo-hoo person all the time when you're with friends. But you have friends for a fucking reason. All right. You paid for those friends for a reason. When I say you paid for those friends, you know what I mean. You paid in an interpersonal sense for those friends. Use them for what friends are for sometimes. Friends are not always there for happy times. We all know that. But sometimes your friends, there are some times when you're going to hurt in front of your friends and they're going to be at their limit. So don't hurt all the time to your friends, but hurt enough to your friends because they're there for you. You're going to think that even your friends who are married or your friends who are boyfriend and girlfriend forever, and you know they're going to get engaged and get married and blah, blah, blah. Even those friends, trust me, I know you think you may be a burden on them. And if you do it all the time, you will be. But if you do it when you need it, trust me, they're there for you. They're there for you. There is that guy friend and that girlfriend that are married or in that relationship whenever you're going through a breakup and you know they won't. You know they're going to be together forever. There are those friends that will put you on speakerphone and that's a kick-ass friend, by the way. The kick-ass guy friend that puts you on speakerphone with the girl he loves so that they can both talk to you about this, that's a good friend. That's a really good friend. Not just your single dude friend. Okay? Don't get me wrong. Your single dude friend is great. Your single guy friend is fucking great. He's great because he's going to make you laugh through the pain. He's going to help you laugh a little bit. And he's going to listen. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be all him being sarcastic, be jokey, and trying to cheer you up. He will listen. But I can tell you this, that set of friends that are couples, and that dude puts you on speakerphone and goes, sweetheart, listen, let's talk to him together. That's going to fill your heart. That's going to fill your heart to make up for that part of your heart that you have to be okay hurting, and you have to be okay hurt. It's almost like this, like, okay, so here's your heart. Okay, so here's your heart. And then like it gets to, as you sit in the suck, it feels like it's getting depleted. As you sit in that suck, it feels like it's turning darker and darker. And then when you talk with your friends and when you rely on them for that time, when you want to sit in the suck, when you want to embrace the suck, that heart is going to fill back up. So you're going to go through these ups and downs of hurting. You're going to go through ups and downs of an odd power vacuum that is happening in your heart. But be okay with depleting those resources. For any lack of a better word, for any lack of a better situation, and stick with me here, all right? Stick with me here, all right? There is a point. Stick with me, all right? You ever play video games? Remember when you played video games and there was that one level that was very hard to beat, and you knew that when you knew that as you went through the level, your power level would decrease and decrease and decrease, and you knew you could make it through that level with a minimal amount of power left. because when you hit that next level, you'd have full power again. That's kind of how the relationship is going to be with your friends for a while. That's kind of how it's going to be until you level out. That comes to my second piece of advice. Be okay with the roller coaster of emotion. All right? Be okay with the ups and downs. Be okay with the ebbs and flows. Be all right with almost what some people would say a manic swing of your feelings and emotions. Be okay with it. All right. Be all right with being super happy at one point and then being very, very sad, quite possibly within the next hour or 2 hours. Those emotions will swing. And the reason, in my opinion, the reason why those emotions will swing is because you now have nobody to bounce your conversation off of when you're alone. Even if you're in a shitty relationship, and maybe I'm speaking for myself, but even when you're in a shitty relationship, and especially when you're living with somebody, there's somebody there. Even if you're not talking, you're bouncing an almost silent emotion off of. And whenever you split up, that person is not there. Not only for you to go, holy shit, isn't this funny? Did you see this? I saw this the other day. It's hilarious. Or even in your head to hear that person maybe in the kitchen and know they're there. That is no longer there. So there's no longer that idea of comfort that levels your emotion out. So you're going to have to level your own, you're going to have to let your own emotions level themselves out. You're going to have to let it happen over time. And the only way that'll happen over time is if you know your limit of high and you know your limit of low. And you've got to know that limit to know where you fall into to gauge it as it shrinks back into a level emotion. I feel like I should be dressed as Dr. Phil right now. Is that wrong? And I tell you, that doesn't smell kosher. I don't know what Dr. Phil would say. I've literally only seen the Catch Me Outside girl on Dr. Phil. Speaking of which, is she legal yet? I don't know if I can talk about her boobs yet. So, all right. So be okay with that. Be okay with the boomeranging of emotion. It's going to happen. Just like be okay with suck. Be okay with hyper happiness, because they're going to happen because you're going to try to overreach at times for happiness. You're going to try to find even a small bit of happiness, and at times you're going to grab onto it and you're going to show the emotions that it's the best happiness ever. And what you're doing is you're finding a limit there. You're finding your limit of high and low. All right, you find your max and your minimum, and it takes a little time. Don't date listen, this is not my piece of advice. All right, this isn't my piece of advice. All right, so I stole this advice from somebody else. All right, so let's say you're in a relationship for 5 years. All right, do not date for 2.5. Take the time of your monogamy with that person and half it. And then that's when you should date. Now, here's the caveat. There, of course, everything I say comes with this. It comes with a disclaimer. I'm not telling you not to fuck. By the way, this goes for men and women both. So I'm not just focusing on men. This goes for men and women both. Both, but all this advice is equal opportunity. It is. All right. It's equal opportunity. I mean, for men and women both. All right. So, women, I don't mean not to fuck. I don't mean that. I don't mean don't see anybody of the opposite sex in those 2.5 years. You know, if your relationship was 4 years, in those 2 years, I'm not saying don't see anybody. No. I'm saying don't see anybody. That's what I'm saying. I think that's probably a better way to say it. I'm not telling you not to fuck. I'm telling you don't see anybody. Jumping into a relationship right after a relationship is always a doom for success. Prime example is marriage statistics. All right. Second marriages are 3 times more likely to fail than first marriages. And we all know first marriages almost never, that's what, a 68% chance you're going to get divorced. So, and your second marriage is 3 times more likely to fail. And you know why? Because they find a majority of people who get involved in a second marriage within 5 years of their first marriage, it's 3 times more likely to fail. You know what's weird though? The third marriage, even higher likelihood to last than your first marriage. But I have my theory about that, which is that by the time you're onto your third marriage, you're really old. And so you're going to be near death anyway. So you just don't get divorced because it's a pain in the ass. Just saying, that's probably why. So that's my other piece of advice. Take your relationship, put it into half. That's when you are allowed to maybe start seeing somebody. All right. So this sucks. If you're married like 12 fucking years, that means you're right. My opinion and my advice is you need to wait 6 years before you see anybody. And that's why I put that caveat there about, I'm not saying no fuck. Please go fuck. Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't deserve to fuck more than people who just broke up? They totally deserve to fuck. Because most of the time, I may be projecting here. There might be a large amount of projecting here, which is that most of the time when relationships are ending towards the end, it's sexless. And none of us deserve that. None of us. Ugliest person on the planet doesn't deserve not to get laid. The ugliest person on the planet deserves to get laid. Everybody deserves. Sex is great. So that brings me to my next piece of advice, which is fuck a lot, man. Fuck a lot. Females, men, both. Fuck a lot. Get it out of the way. Slump bust the shit out of it. It takes 15 years to get rid of shared stuff like furniture and knickknacks and other crap on average for marriage. Man, I still have stupid knickknacks, and my marriage was over 20 fucking years ago. So I still have all sorts of shit that I'm sure my fucking ex-wife still even wonders if I have. I think there are things I still have in which I've lied to my ex-wife and told her. So, fucking go out. Get fucking laid. Get fucking laid. Now, I'm not telling you to you are in a relationship for 10 years and you break up and the next day don't go get laid. I'm not telling you that. But I am telling you that when you start feeling comfortable being fucking, just fuck. It'll help you, man. It's a release of endorphins. It's a release of serotonin. It makes you feel good on the inside and outside. Go fuck. And you're going to have some bad ones. You're going to have a majority of them are going to be bad. But the small amount that are good, it's almost like the minimum makes up for the maximum. Like, was it the minority will make up for the majority? The majority of them are going to be bad lays, but that minority is going to be so good that majority of bad lays is you're not even going to fucking care. Like, you're not even going to worry about that. You're just going to be like, I can't wait to have another really good lay. And you'll go through a bunch of fucking bad lays, then you'll get a good lay. And then when you get the good lay, you'll be happy. All right. You'll be happy. On top of the fact that it makes you feel wanted again, which is probably something that happened that led to the split up? That's probably an emotion that you felt that was part of the split up. The idea of not being wanted. That brings me to my next piece of advice. And I'm going to wrap this up shortly, I promise. Which is be okay not being wanted. Be all right with it. Here's the biggest problem. Not the biggest problem. Here's a very, very, very common trait with humanity is that we all want to feel significant. And we all want to feel like we make a difference and that our existence makes a difference and that our existence is a very important cog in the, hi, Jeff. Yes, hello. That our existence is a very large and important cog in the machine of life. A lot of us worry when people, a lot of us think that when people leave us, that stresses the insignificance that we play in life. That actually we think we're this big gear, and then we go through a separation with somebody, and because they now have another life, that means they found a gear as big as we are. So then we think, okay, well, maybe since they want a bigger gear, that we're actually a smaller gear in the cog of life. And that's unfair of us to think, but it's human nature. It's human nature. It's human nature for us to want to feel significant. And I'm not going to be a nihilist here, and I'm not going to say, you know what, we're all insignificant, and it doesn't matter, because that's not true. It's not true. You're going to feel like it's true. You're going to feel like you're not wanted anymore. You're going to feel like you are not important. And because you're not important in this one person's life, then you're not important as a whole. And that's a very good question. And that's just not true. That's not true. I'm not a nihilist. B, most people are not either, even if they tell you they are. Most people have positive thoughts, but they suppress them and let the idea of low self-esteem get to them. You're not an unimportant cog. That person is going to remember you. They're going to remember you. I don't know if I should put it this way, but I am. I have been in a lot of fights in my life, and I know this. There are definitely times when I knew I was going to get my ass kicked. I'm not an ass kicker, all right? I have kicked some ass, don't get me wrong, but I'm not an ass kicker, all right? Trust me, I'm coming around. I'm coming around to it. You're going to get to it in a second, all right? I remember one time in particular, a very large guy who I had maybe needlessly picked a fight with, decided he wanted to call me on my bet. And I remember looking him straight in the face and going, I'm going to tell you this right now. You're going to kick my ass. All right? You're going to kick my ass. But you're sure going to know I was there. You're going to know I was there. And in a relationship with somebody, it's the same exact way. You're not unwanted. You're not. Just because that fucking person doesn't want you anymore does not mean you're fucking unwanted. And it's really easy to think, again, because we want to think that we are very significant people. And you were fucking significant. You were significant for this person to stick by your side for this amount of time. You were significant. All right. But it's okay. It's all right. It's all right to feel like you're cog, like you have been downplayed in the gear of life. You're going to feel like it, feel comfortable in it. It sucks. Feel comfortable in it. But trust me, just because that fucking asshole did not want you, and because of that asshole treated you like a fucking shit fuck, does not mean you're unwanted. And that is where the fucking comes in. Because the fucking makes you feel wanted. Even if it's just for a couple hours, it makes you feel fucking wanted. That fucking will make you feel wanted. And do it. Do it. Told you I was coming around to it. You didn't see it, but I was coming around to it. So, good question. Should I sell the wedding ring after the divorce? Abso-fucking-lutely, you should. If you haven't thrown it into a fucking field, if you haven't thrown it into her fucking face, his face, if you haven't thrown it in his car and set it on fire, absolutely sell the fuck out of it. Especially if it's fucking valuable, and do it quick. Do it before the fucking divorce papers are signed. Do it before anybody gets their fucking divorce papers, because then it becomes community property, and then you have to share it because of the divorce decree. Do it before the divorce decree comes in. Trust me. Do it quick. Do it early. Do it fast. When you know you're going to get served, or you know you're going to fucking serve, sell that fucking ring, man. Get that fucking money. Use that fucking money, because there's going to be a loss of income there. Now, here's the deal. When I say loss of income, I don't just mean the money that's made. I do also mean time. All right? That other person you may have been married to or had a partnership with, they were able to help you with errands. They were they were there available to help you with priorities that you had nobody else to rely on. You're going to fucking need that money. For instance, if you had somebody that stayed home all the time and they walked the dogs, you're going to need that money to pay a fucking dog walker. All right? You're going to need that fucking money. All right? So sell that ring, because it makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense to keep it in any way, shape, or form. It is merely an item. It is merely an item. Should people fight for the joint custody of pets? Fuck no. That's fucking stupid. They have no fucking personality. They're fucking animals. Don't get me wrong. We all know this. I love Jeff. Love Ivan. The cats, fuck them. Cats suck. They're stupid. I love them to death. Everybody knows that my opinion of this might be jaded, because I am ready for them to die. But it's not so jaded that I can say this. Well, it is that jaded that I can say this. They have no personality. They're animals. If you're fighting over pets, you have way too much fucking time in your hands, and you're way too fucking rich, and somebody should take half your money. Only rich people fight over pets. Poor people don't have the time. You know why poor people don't have the time? Because of the money it takes to feed your fucking pets. So no, you should not fight over pets. What are they barking about? Hold on 1 second. Look, I'm about to change the perspective of this. Look at that. Threw a light on out there. Shut up, guys. All right, so no. Who gets all the sex toys after the breakup? I do. I mean, they taste like me anyway, so here is my last big piece of advice. And I'm going to freely say this, that I am much better, just like 100% of people out there, I'm much better at giving advice than I am taking it. All right? I'm going to say this right now. All right. Forget about them. You need to forget about them. You got to move on. You have to move on. That means delete their number. If it's a boyfriend and girlfriend, nobody memorizes numbers anymore. Forget about them. You got to forget about them. You got to let them go completely. You have to, because you're going to be better for it. All right? Now, don't get me wrong, there are a minority of times in which the situation comes back around and the people who have broken up get back together. There is, and it is a very, very, very small percentage. Remember this. In life, you're playing the percentage. You're playing the odds. Odds don't lie. They don't. They don't lie. Odds don't lie. 68% of marriages end divorce. That's bad odds. If you were if you were in a casino and you had $100 and somebody said, "Hey, give me your $100," there is a 68% chance that I'm going to take this $100 and walk out that door. But don't worry, there's a 42% chance that I'm going to give you this $100 back. You would never give that person $100. Never, 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 never. You wouldn't. It's bad odds for $100. You're not even getting a return on your investment. In fact, more than likely, they're going to go, there's a 68% chance I'm going to walk out this door with your $100. But by the way, there's a 42% chance that I'm going to take $40 of this, put it in my pocket, and give you back 60. Which you would never do. You would never do that. You would never do. Nobody would ever do that. You would literally never do that. As Upshaw has filled up my live chat, yes. I should circle back to that, which about the fucking thing, which is, it's so easy to meet people these days. It's so easy. If you have a modicum of personality and intelligence these days, with internet dating alone, you are a valued commodity as a person, female or male. If you can string 3 intelligent conversations together in email, that is easily 2.5 more sentences of intelligent conversation than the common internet dater has out there. I don't think I know anybody who's not intelligent. I don't think I have anybody, not only in my circle of friends, but even my circle of acquaintances, who is not, who I don't consider intelligent. So I want you to hear me in this, because I am specifically speaking to somebody out there that will remain nameless, and you are in my peripheral. And because you are on my peripheral means you are an intelligent fucking person, which means that it is very easy to find more people out there that want to be in your company. That one person that didn't want you in their company, you're going to realize that they're a tiny, tiny grain of sand in a very large beach of people out there that want to be next to you, that want to be near you, that want to talk to you, that want to be with you, that want to fuck you, that don't want to fuck you, that maybe just want to make out with you, that or don't want to make out with you, just want to give you a really fucking awesome fucking conversation that hits that part of your fucking cerebellum that sparks it and causes your synapses to fucking fire in a great fucking pattern that make you glad that you're not sitting on your stupid fucking couch, being quiet, having to have a psychological or psychosomatic partnership with somebody who doesn't want you there. That stupid psychosomatic partnership that has been quiet and has been slowly separating you from yourself and making you feel more and more alone isn't worth the grain of salt of that 15-minute conversation you're having with somebody who is making you talk and making you happy in conversation and want you there talking to them and engaging with them. Because that person who was not engaging with you did not fully appreciate the person you are and how engaging you can be. Now, last piece of advice, because I've given enough and I want to go, holy shit, somebody just had a message redacted and I want to know what that said now. I am so fucking curious to know what was written right there. All right, so last thing. And this one takes time. This one takes a lot of time. All right. This is the last one, and it's not going to be easy, and you're not going to agree with me initially if you're going through a breakup, but it will take time, and eventually you will. They're not to blame either. They're not to blame either. Stop blaming them. Stop blaming them, because they're not to blame either. All right? The quicker and the faster you not facetiously, you truly realize they are not to blame either, and you take the parts of you that caused that situation as well, that played part in it. As soon as you realize the parts of you that were to blame that created that situation, the better you're going to feel and the easier this is going to be. Take stock of the shitty parts of you that helped cause the situation, because no person fucks it up by themselves. The second you became a couple, you agreed to take on part of the responsibility. That doesn't mean you get all the credit. That doesn't mean they were entirely to fucking blame. Now, it may not be 50-50. You might be 30% to blame. They might be 70. You might be 70. They might be 30. All right? That's for you to fucking figure out. It's not for me to figure out. It's for you to fucking figure out. All right? But realize you're partly to fucking blame. Whether you got into the relationship with bad intentions initially, whether you didn't pull your weight, whether you fuck it. You can also, by the way, you can also be to blame because you are not to blame. You can be to blame because you helped facilitate the situation, because you fed this person who might have been shitty to you. You might also be shitty because you are shitty and you allowed them. You allowed them to feed your shittiness. So remember, you're not fucking blameless. I know it sucks. Ego-wise, it sucks to hear that. But you're not blameless. You're not the second you became a couple, that means you agreed to take your part, not only in the prizes and rewards that happen during your success, but that also means that you're partly due and partly responsible for the failure. So you're going to have to figure it out. You're going to have to figure out what your part of the failure was. It's the hardest thing to do. It's one of the hardest parts of it. Really is. Critical thought of deprecation is very hard because we all want to think we're the large cog in the machine. We all want to think that we're not just the important part of the machine, but we're the reason why the machine runs so well. when that's not true. It's not true. We're also the reason why the machine ran shitty. So, happy Saturday to you. Happy Saturday to you. Such an uplifting conversation we had. You're welcome for all the uplifting conversation. I know this was a serious podcast, but hopefully I gave some good advice out there. Hopefully I helped. I mean, I think I should. You know, somebody asked me to, A, and B, I've really kind of wanted to talk about this for a while, to be honest with you. I really have. So there it is. Somebody wanted my advice. I gave it. And here's the deal about when you ask me for advice. It is absolutely buyer beware. All right. So I want to let you know that right now, anybody who's out there that knows me, when you do this, hey, Robert, what do you think about this? Buyer beware. You are asking me that question at your own risk. All right. You really are. All right. So here it is. Shit. Made almost an hour. Look at us. We did good. Thank you for tuning in to the Brushing with Teeth with Robert podcast. I am very, very, very grateful you were around. I'm very grateful you sat in here for this. I know it wasn't the easiest or the greatest, but hopefully I helped anybody out there. Hopefully I helped any of y'all go through your conscious uncoupling. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, hit the alerts, listen, watch. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here for the Saturday podcast. I am now because that's how low I am. Cheers. Remember, if you can go 5 miles, you can go 30. All right? Now go. Enjoy your Saturday. Have a good time. Have a drink. Don't have a drink. Just enjoy your time. Whether you're watching Netflix or out with friends. All right? Do me a favor. Could somebody help Logan with his conscious uncoupling from my money? Because he owes it to me. Thank you for being here. Friends with Robert. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Stay healthy. Stay sane. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Mwah.